All right, guys, Joe Saglimbeni back on his YouTube channel, Joe Saglimbeni. And today we're going to do a little Let's Chat live. Every Saturday, I try to go live. And I know it's been a while because of the holidays, but I'm going to try to be as consistent as I can. But I'm not going to lie to you. These are holiday times, and sometimes I can't go live. But we're live. It's Let's Chat Live. A little bit about me, Joe Saglimbeni, blue collar worker, over 3 decades of investing. And this is my show, Let's Chat Live. This is my channel, Joe Saglimbeni. And today we're going to talk about the markets, of course. But this time we're going to talk about, well, shall we say, when in doubt, zoom out. Now, what do I mean by that? So Friday, or actually this past week, we've had a kind of a negative type stock market, and then just yesterday we had cryptos crash also, and I just thought that I should make a live stream about calming people down. And what I mean by that is, when in doubt, zoom out. So, what do I mean by that? Okay, so I'm going to show this as in my on my screen here. Let me just get my name out of there. So, basically this is the S&P 500. And here it is the S&P 500 in the last 5 days, okay? Now, as you can see, it has crashed. And everybody's nervous. I think it's down 3% roughly, or 4% from its highs. But I like to try to calm people down and realize that these short term events are normal, and that people shouldn't rush, get out, get scared. So here's an example. I'm going to zoom out 1 month, and we still see that the market is out down 2.6% here, right? I'm going to zoom out 3 months, and all of a sudden you'll see that the market is basically evened out in 3 months. So what I'm trying to say is that you have to stop looking short term. And I know it's a crazy thing. The stock market's a crazy thing, and cryptos are crazy. And I'll get into crypto a little bit later in this live stream. But basically, I want to try to calm fears here and explain that people, investors, true investors who have been doing this for years, and I've been investing in the stock market for over 3 decades. So before we go any further, again, disclaimer, I'm not a financial planner. I'm not a financial pro. This is my opinion. I'm trying to educate, so please reach out to your financial professional if you're going to take action on your investments. So, that being said, during these 3 decades, I have seen terrible crashes. Actually, I go back to the 1987 crash, and that's where it really all started for me. That's when I really started getting interested in the stock market. So I've seen the 87 crash. I've seen the 1990, I think 91 crash. I've seen the tech bust. I've seen 2008, 2009 crash. And of course, last year during the pandemic, you had a crash March of 2020. And now you have this little crash that happened this week in the stock markets. And cryptos kind of follow that path also. On Friday, actually Saturday, early Saturday morning, the crypto market crashed. I believe Bitcoin went to 41,000. And basically, what I am trying to do in this live stream about zooming out, basically, what I'm trying to do is show you on a chart that when you zoom out in these markets, for example, let's go 6 months out, you're going to see that the S&P 500 was up 8 to 9%. All right, year to date, what's that, like 10, 11 months? The S&P is up 20%. But look, a, a crash here, a crash here, a crash here, a crash here. Now, these aren't huge crashes, but as I go out 1 year, 2 years, here is the crash during the beginning of the pandemic. And that was a pretty big crash year. And I'm going to zoom out 5 years now. And you're going to see we had several crashes: 2019, 2018, obviously during the pandemic in 2020. And now we're here. Now, if you notice, this is not a big crash. What occurred this week is not that big. When you look at a 5 year chart. Now let's see if I can see what happens with Yahoo Finance when I max it out. I don't know how far it's going to go out. So it goes at 1984. So here we go. The 87 crash, the first time I ever got interested in the stock market was 1987. And look, there was a big, like the appreciation to come back. The stock market didn't come back until roughly 1989. Though, if you're an individual stock investor like I am, you may see the comebacks earlier because some stocks or some stocks that are tied to an underlying company, a great company, they come back more rapidly. They also fall rapidly. But you'll see that over the long term, over the long term, the stock market crashes, comes back. This is the crash, the tech, the tech bust right here is basically the tech bust. And then you had 2000, let's see if we can get it here. I don't know if I see it here. There it is. Then you had 2008, 2009. Both of these crashes, what I ended up doing was, and it wasn't perfect, I ended up buying some of these dips. And how I end up, or how I realized to do this, is because I've been investing for over a decade. And the thing is, I dollar cost average most of the time, and I'll hit an average, a dip, a high, a dip, a high, a dip, a high. And when you get these instances where you get these sort of big kind of corrections, you're never perfect. And I was never perfect in 2008 or back in early 2000 with the tech bust, but I did put some money to work, believing and having confidence in the economy, the stock market, and in these companies that I picked, their fundamentals and their future prospects. So this is what I think everyone should learn, is that when in doubt, you zoom out of the chart and you realize how these crashes are kind of blips on a longer term chart. And I think it's important during these times to realize that. Now, what I'm going to do now is go and check out cryptos. Now, I'm going to take the S&P 500 here out. This is the S&P 500. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to shorten this to 2 years, and I'm going to add Bitcoin. Okay. Now, before I press that button, you're going to see that Bitcoin outperformed the S&P 500. So I just want you to uh, forget about that right now and just take a look how Bitcoin swings. And as you zoom out, you will see that over time, the appreciation or the chart goes up. Okay, but very important, you're going to see a massive outperformance of Bitcoin. Okay, so here we go. So there is Bitcoin. So this is the S&P 500 down here, and here is Bitcoin. So in a 2 year frame, Bitcoin, and let me see if I can get this. I want to see if I can get the volume indicator out of here. Don't even worry about it. So here is Bitcoin in 2 years. Okay, so we'll start year to date, and you're going to see in about 11 months, Bitcoin topped up there, crashed down to 29, something like that. Came back, hit an all-time high over here at around 70. I want to say around 70. Let me see. I can get this. It's around 70 or 66, 70. And then now in this period. Okay. So if we go a year, you'll see these crashes, but overall, the pattern is up. Go 2 years, the pattern is up. Go 5 years, the pattern, though not as good, not as linear as the S&P 500, because you notice here, Bitcoin goes up and then goes down and then basically goes nowhere. But these are all ups and downs. You just can't see it on this chart. But basically, Bitcoin goes nowhere. Now, Bitcoin is a very speculative type of asset, if you even want to call it an asset. But for these purposes, we're going to call it an asset. Bitcoin is speculative. You're going to get this, or have you seen? History has shown that Bitcoin will go nowhere sometimes. But what I'm trying to show is if you zoom out and let's try to go max here on Bitcoin. I mean, you can't even see the beginning lines from 2013, 14, 15, 16, even 17. And look at the return, 17,000% in the max return. Right? Now, the reason why I'm showing Bitcoin is because I believe that you're not gonna. I have an opinion that I don't think you're gonna see that time where the Bitcoin ended up flattening out from 2000 like 18 to 2020. I think you're going to see, you might see a flattening out, but I think you're going to see a continued adoption of Bitcoin. So I'm just thinking that Bitcoin will continue to go up for a little while longer. Now, I know that there's these price predictions of 500,000 Bitcoin on the price of Bitcoin, 1 million on the price of Bitcoin. I don't know. Right now, Bitcoin has been performing good year to date. And if we go to the chart and go year to date, Bitcoin is up 82% roughly. And the S&P is up 20%. What that's telling me is that Bitcoin's growth, the actual price of Bitcoins, you might not see the appreciation you saw several years ago. 400%, 500%, 700%, 300%, 13, whatever they were. You may now see that there's a normal type of growth in Bitcoin, and we're just going to stick to Bitcoin. And I think that maybe you're going to finally see that Bitcoin's probably going to do 40, 50% as opposed to 100% per year on average. And that's okay with me. It may not be okay with Bitcoin lovers that have been investing forever because they think it'll always be a multi 10 times, 5 times, 4x, 3x. I don't think so any longer. I think you're going to see it normalize. Maybe, maybe you get 80%, 70% returns a year, which is fantastic uh, in my eyes, but may not be fantastic for these Bitcoin, uh, you know, fanboys. So that's basically me trying to tell you to calm down. When in doubt, when it comes to investing, zoom out of the chart and realize that great investments, quality investments, over time will perform rather well. Now, that being said, not financial advice, Bitcoin may not yet be quality yet, but I think the fact that the returns are not as significant, the positive returns are not as significant as Bitcoin several years ago, is giving me more confidence that Bitcoin is becoming a respected asset. All right. So now that's about it, guys. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this live stream. And if you did, when it becomes a video, please like, share, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. And hopefully I will be here next Saturday for another live stream. And again, guys, go to my community tab and give a suggestion. And sometimes I might take that suggestion. This week I did not take a suggestion that someone put in my community tab, but I have it in my little database here. All right. So with that, guys, I'm going to say goodbye. Please stay safe. If I don't talk to you next week, have a great one, and I will see you soon. Thanks a lot. Bye.